Welcome to the Horror Junkies Podcast.
Welcome to the Horror Junkies Podcast, the podcast where we discuss all things horror. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Pat.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Jorge.
And we're back. Motherfuckers.
Can't believe it.
Welcome back, everybody.
We're back, and Dylan almost missed his cue.
Was I third or fourth? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I think it was me, and then I always thought it was me, Pat, George, and Dylan.
No, I always went last.
No, I think
Jorge.
Someone watch an old episode real quick.
Yeah, someone pull up an old episode.
Actually, I listened to a couple this week. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, what did we sound like? What did we do?
Yeah.
Well, we're running things a little different.
Yeah, we're running things different. We're not in person. We are in our own individual living quarters. So
I'm
Dylan's
recording out of my
obviously
new car.
100% naked.
I'm recording out of my new car.
You're naked, Dylan.
Yeah.
No,
You're telling- You said you were in nothing but slippers.
I didn't. I said I had
did hear
slippers
that.
on,
Oh, God.
And that's it.
Well,
but even
It's
that
been
could
a
be a
while.
lie.
that's very
Yeah.
I'm recording in my new home/car.
Oh yeah.
Can we just
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
not only did I not realize that it was 3 years, but can we just talk about how much the world has changed in that small amount of time?
That's a lot of
So
cover.
much has changed.
Yeah.
It's like-
What the
it
fuck?
has.
I feel like if we were to plot data points where the show ended and all the crazy shit that happened, there's a correlation with bad things happening and Horror Junkies ending.
I think
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened.
Oh my god, is it our fucking fault?
It's
I
our
would
fault.
say. I would say domestically and internationally, it's our fault.
But
People wanted more, and we said, nah, we're good.
nah. And then the world just went to shit. COVID said,
Yeah.
all right, bet.
So what
I'm
you're
gonna
saying
fuck
is
up
COVID's
everything.
over now since we're back.
No.
No.
One can only wish.
That's why we're not in the same room.
Oh, but yeah, we're back, guys. It's been weird. It's been a while, and we got a cool little show planned for you and a couple other episodes planned for you. Things are going to be a little bit different now. It's been 3 years. We've all grown as an individual.
Yeah.
Our tastes have
That
been
would-
Speak for
modified.
yourself. I'm still drinking beer and cracking skulls over here.
Stone
Time
Cold
is a
Steve Austin,
construct.
motherfucker.
Virgins beware. I haven't forgot.
Dylan, I think the last time we left off, we did Candyman
We did.
way back when. It was like
Yeah.
3 years
Yeah,
back
we
in
did
2018.
Candyman and Urban Legend.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I've really been wanting to watch that lately. I don't
That
know
episode,
why.
we also covered the news on the Candyman, I guess not remake, but new
Sequel.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were covering it on the news
Yeah.
that that movie was
That's
being
funny.
made. And
And now here
What a
it
better
is.
time to come back. And now we're, at the end of this episode, we're going to talk about Candyman.
yep.
And kind of go
Spoiler
through
alert.
there. The new one. So it's a cool little pickup from where we kind of left you guys hanging. And
Sorry.
but yeah. I think one of the cool things that we should probably do, since so much time has passed, what has everyone been up to? Like, what projects you guys been doing, things you've been watching, shit like that.
I won't go first.
Yeah.
True. All right.
Just go back.
Past 3 years. When it referring to like horror movies, I've been getting really into J horror and Korean horror movies.
Yeah.
Kind of step out and started watching more foreign horror movies. And it's been like a crazy journey with that because like I'm discovering like culturally different things that scare like people on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting how we can I can still with that find that that's also like scary, even though culturally it's not the same like what we think is scary here. I don't know. It's broadened my horizons on genres of not just horror movies, but movies in general.
Yeah.
And I could
That's-
I could feel that for real. Like I
Definitely.
watched Train to Busan for the first
Dude, it's
time
so
like during
good.
the pandemic, and like it was
Yeah, same here.
everything that everyone said it was. And
Mhm.
I mean, you got Squid Game that's on Netflix right now, which is
Yeah,
like
it's really good.
another, which is a Korean show. It's
Oh, I'm
Korean,
so
right?
hyped for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's like the most watched Netflix show ever. And it's just like, I don't know. I really dig the stories they tell and how well everything is done.
And
So I can definitely agree with you on
this is how
that.
this is how they shoot their film.
I
All their
agree with
movies are
that.
very colorful.
Yeah.
They use a lot
it's
of
just-
colors.
It almost feels like it's more HD than RHD.
That's true. And the thing about Train Busan is like I thought I was done with zombie movies until I started getting into that, and I was like, oh fuck yes, all right. I don't.
Yo.
Zombies aren't ruined for me yet.
But the
Yeah,
sequel, Peninsula, is on Shudder.
Is it?
I
haven't
just
watched
found
the
I
sequel
out.
yet.
haven't seen. I
I
haven't
haven't
Yeah, I
seen.
haven't
it
seen.
either.
Yeah, I haven't watched
do-
Peninsula.
Do you boys still have a Shutter account?
I do.
I do.
I do.
I do. Fuck yeah!
That's-
All right,
maybe
so we
that's the
still all have a
little-
Shutter account.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
we're yeah.
You know why? Because we're fucking real.
Are we?
No.
Okay.
Well, during the pandemic, I had to cancel my subscription for a little bit,
No, yeah. Well, they don't
save
like
some money.
True.
Well,
I mean,
Pat,
as-
how were you personally? Besides, what you've been watching, you been good, man. That new
Oh
car
yeah,
treating you well?
During the pandemic, I was out of work for like 8 months. Luckily,
Oh, yeah.
before that, I was saving money to make a trip to Europe. So I just used that money to survive.
Oh shit! Well,
Jesus.
Europe ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's very true.
Last I checked.
It just disappears tomorrow. Just
Nowadays, you
it's like an
can't beat
episode
the
of
shirt.
Lost. It just teleports from off the fucking world.
I'm gonna
Well,
tell you what,
Europe is-
man. I'm gonna tell you what. Europe, not that great.
You know, I keep hearing that, but I want to
You go to Burger King and they ask you if you want salad. on your
Salad?
burger. I don't want, it means lettuce, but I don't want salad on my damn burger. Boo!
Meat and cheese. I'm a beef and
I'm-
cheddar.
Dylan's like, my
I'm just
burger-
kidding. I'm just kidding. Europe's great.
Yeah. But what you been doing, Dylan? What you been doing this time, man?
Personally, or
Jesus Christ.
or
Hey man, whatever you want to talk about.
yeah.
yeah, I'll let people know. People who like know me already know, but I
Yeah.
don't know if people listening care, but I'll say it anyway.
They
2020, I got a cat, and then everything went to shit.
Well,
I got a cat. Well, here's the thing: the cat is so great that it kind of cancels out everything shitty that's happened, except not really because I'm still dealing with it.
yeah.
But his name is Dracula,
Which is
and
fantastic.
He is an amazing companion. I'm very glad to have him. But after I got him, I got the old COVID,
The old-
Yeah.
which it wasn't that bad. Biden's America. I'm just kidding. Don't get
You knew it was
vaccinated, Jesus
coming.
Christ.
You knew it was coming.
My anti-Biden rhetoric's going to be a hit with the kids. You wait. I got vaccinated finally, so that's good. But I had COVID, which it wasn't that bad because I could still taste, but
That's
I couldn't
good.
smell, so I
That's
could
good.
still eat snacks, which
Well,
was
snacks
totally
is very
fine.
important.
And they were like, I was supposed to be off for 2 weeks, and then they were like, actually, we recommend 3 weeks. I'm like, you're the boss. So it was just me and my cat for 3 weeks straight, and then I got over COVID, and then I started getting headaches, and then I went and got a brain scan, and then I found out I had brain cancer, which wasn't fun, but
No.
I got over that. I had to get brain surgery pretty much the day I found out, so that's cool. And I did
2020
radiation.
was
I
not
did
good to you.
chemotherapy. No, in the beginning of 2021 wasn't either. But
Yeah.
I did the radiation. I did the chemotherapy. All my scans have said that I don't have cancer anymore. So
That's
that's
good.
cool. Yeah.
That's good. That's
But
good.
now my legs don't work because I was in bed for 4 months. Because I was in bed for 4 months, being a cancer-ridden jackass for like 4 or 5 months, and so my legs don't work anymore.
He's Lieutenant Dan.
My legs don't work anymore. So yeah, I'm doing physical therapy for that. But other than that, like, I started going back to the movies when, whenever that stuff's not available at home, I go see
Yeah.
movies, and I went
Oh,
to
yeah.
a show. I went to 2 shows, and
Who'd you
I'm
see?
driving again. I saw Incubus, which was great.
Nice.
And
How
then
were
I
they?
just saw, they were fantastic.
Meet
Fuck
me at outer
um,
space, man.
Yeah. That was the first song they played.
Oh fuck! I
It was
would shit my
crazy.
pants.
Yeah. It was crazy. But then I went and saw Magnitude
Okay.
with Koyo and Dying Wish and Karma,
Dying Wish is so good.
True Form, Burning Strong. It was a really sick show. It was just cool to be back in that kind of energy.
Yeah.
Friends and stuff and everything. So that was really good for everything. And Jaguars football is back and shittier than ever. And right now I'm in 3 fantasy football leagues and I'm losing all of them. It's a great time.
It's a great time to be alive.
It's a great time to be me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm on top, ladies and
You sound like
gentlemen.
you're doing pretty good.
I can't be stopped. All right. I got these slippers
No,
on.
if 2020, whatever it did to Dylan, show that he cannot be stopped.
Yeah. It's just, I'll always be around to assert my shitty opinion. Unfortunately for everybody, y'all are just going to have to deal with it. But
He is a force to be reckoned with.
here I am.
Highlight. There can only be one.
So yeah, what have you been up to, George?
Yeah, George.
Holy shit! I have
my
no
God.
idea. No, I just honestly, like, I'm gonna do the lame answer, and like I just worked on myself because
Stepdad.
couldn't do anything, so I kind of just focused on myself, and I'm trying to grow the fuck up finally, which is, let me tell you, really fucking boring
Yeah,
let me
no
ask you
shit.
something.
and not fun. Yes.
If you don't live and you don't laugh, how are you going to love?
oh, I'm still living and laughing. Let me tell you that.
Oh, then you're
My-
loving. That's great.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm loving.
If
I'm
you're- if you're-
having fun.
If you're
But-
That's
living
good.
and you're laughing, then you're loving.
Yeah, so I kind of
That's-
just took the time to focus.
That's
on
plastered on every basic white girl's wall.
myself. Live, laugh, love, man.
Live, laugh,
love.
starting-
It's certainly not on my wall.
Words to live by. That was the motto that got Dylan through 2020. Live, laugh, love.
If I didn't have that,
I'm buying
I
Dylan
didn't
that
have
book if he
that.
doesn't have it already.
That's the phrase that kept him going.
That's like it's like finally seeping into like the horror world. It's like drink and be scary, and it's like fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good, and since
That's
Horror
good. At
Junkies
least you used the
broke up,
pandemic to work on yourself.
I did. Horror Junkies broke up, so I'm part of a new podcast now called Macabre Media Podcast, which Dylan has been on a couple times.
Hell yeah.
I have, as a matter of fact. It's a fun time.
It's way different. It's like here we get to hang out and bullshit and just like have fun, and that one's like way more tearing apart the movie piece by piece and like
What are you trying to say?
really getting into the
Who's got
nitty-gritty.
time?
He's saying
We
we're
go
done
into
this
like
bullshit.
the underlying themes and like it's just like super like makes my head hurt.
I sit in the chair, I turn on the computer, I smoke weed, and I get this shit done. That's what I do.
But
Jesus Christ.
this is way more fun. Not saying that that's not fun, but
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
a different vibe.
it's a different. But it made me look
Yeah.
at movies different. Every time I watch a movie, it's more than just like, oh, that was good, this was cool, like it looked cool.
That's good.
And now it's just like, oh my god, like my brain is like going at 100 miles an hour every time I watch
Well,
a
that's-
movie now. But it's good. It's opened my eyes to a lot of different concepts that you wouldn't really like think of.
There you go.
And it's been a good time.
See, I
That's
do
fun.
that too, but I just take edibles before I watch a movie, and then it makes me really like get into it. Like I watched *Malignant*, and I would say I was violently high. Let's put it that way.
Me too.
And so many things happened in that movie, and I couldn't process all
No,
of it.
dude. Once it hits the different vibe of the movie, I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I was just like, oh man.
I'm like, is this-
what is happening here?
When the big reveal happens, dude, I like raised my fist and I was like, yes!
Yeah,
Man,
it was pretty
so
wild.
epic.
It was pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, I think I like texted Patrick and I was just like, bro.
Oh,
please watch
because I was
Malignant.
such a hater for the
Yeah,
so
he was
long
like,
for
no,
that
no,
movie.
it's so stupid. I'm like, no. Just check it out. I promise you.
And I love it. It was the right type of schlock that I've been missing out of horror.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
only
That's
that, but like
fucking
it was just somewhat like a little refreshing from James Wan. Because
Everyone's confused, and James Wan is just laughing.
I think he pulled a
and
prank. That's-
laughing.
I think he did too. Because I
I
usually
think that movie's a full prank.
yeah.
It has
Everyone
to be.
who used to listen to the show knows that I don't like him. because
We
he
hate
makes
James Wan.
a lot of his stuff is very similar and it's not original. But this,
It's
Unlike
monotonous.
well done.
Well, he made Aquaman. And
Yeah.
he made so
Well-
much money, and Warner Brothers says you can do whatever you want. And James Wan is like, "You sure about that?" And they're like, "Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
test the
go
waters
nuts,
here.
man." He goes, "Go nuts."
You know they
All right.
regretted that decision in a heartbeat. He showed them
Oh.
it. They were at the premiere and they said, "What the fuck?"
I don't think they should regret it. I think that
No, 'cause-
I'm gonna champion a malignant haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights next year.
Same,
yes. Hey.
same. It would work so well.
That'd be wild.
I don't
That'd be
regret it.
terrifying.
I'm glad they did it. But you know
Little
damn well
fucking-
the executives were just like, "Fuck."
What the
Hey,
fuck
man.
did we pay for?
Worse schlock has gotten through producers' hands,
That's
Yeah.
very true.
and that's a fact.
Jaws 3.
Jaws
What's
3.
that? Hey, what's that Mariah Carey movie?
The Christmas
I can't
one?
remember no, but there's a Mariah Carey movie. It's like Honey's the Jessica. I don't know why I'm talking about it. I'm just saying Mariah Carey made a movie.
Sir, this is a horror podcast, sir.
I mean,
it's a horror.
fuck's
It's a
Mariah
horror to
Carey?
watch.
Yeah, there you go.
my God,
Yeah, well, it ties in. All right, we're talking about it.
that's it. We can just talk about Mariah Carey's live performance at like the New Year like event in New York City like 2 years ago. It was
I think
horrible.
it's called Glitter.
I'm usually
I think
drunk.
that's the name of the
New Year's Eve, so
movie.
I don't remember the performances.
We
Oh,
could
man.
do a back to back. We could do a Mariah
like a
Carey
problem.
movie, and we can do the Britney Spears movie.
Oh, God.
All right,
Can we
we're done. Moving
fucking
on.
Please.
Mike, how have you been?
You know,
It is
I
glitter.
Is it glitter?
I mean,
Yeah.
we could do
God.
Spice World.
No.
I'm down.
She was she
Jeez,
was
I'm
also
down.
the mayor in the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. Got her IMDb pulled up.
Oh God.
So,
But
Mike,
you know
how have
what?
you been?
Busy as usual. I mean, it's been good. I've been hanging out, watching a lot of stuff, reading a lot of stuff. Right now I picked up a book because the Barnes and Noble where I live shut down because of the pandemic. So they were having like a major sale, like books were like 50 to 70% off.
Holy
So I
shit.
picked up this book called like Johannes Cabal, The Fall of the Cabal House, and I was like, this looks really good. And I started reading the prologue, and I didn't realize this is like book 5 of a whole series. So I stopped, and then I found the PDF of the first book. So I've been reading that. It's kind of like it's about like a necromancer who like sold his soul to the devil, and he's upset with the fact that he did that, or he regrets it now. So he just goes to
Ooh,
hell.
I like that.
And he's just like, hey, give me back my soul, you fuck. And Satan's like, no, dude, you
Go
can't
fuck
just
yourself.
come back here and request this shit. I have a status to keep. So they make
like-
a deal, and they have to, like, he has to, like, collect souls for Satan.
Okay,
But he
cool.
does it in the means of a carnival. So when he comes back to Earth, he's doing like he's got one of those old train side carnivals, and he's just like going through towns and stealing people's souls. It's a pretty cool book, really good book so
Is
far.
it-
I haven't.
Isn't that
Wait, you wanna
the plot to Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus? Have
You
y'all ever
know?
heard of that movie?
Yeah,
That's a Johnny
Yeah.
Depp
I
movie.
think like
It's
when you
the-
think of any movie that follows like a train side carnival type of thing,
Well,
they all kind of blend together.
Well, it's the devil and God, and they're trying to see who has or who can get who can be like the first to 3 souls or whatever they claim.
Really?
And it's in a circus. So
Huh.
it might be, I don't know if that thing's old, but you've been reading books now, Mike?
I've been reading. I always read books. I just
Yo,
read a lot of
Mike,
books
I
for
need those
class.
Good
Yeah,
for
more than
you, pal.
Yeah,
Good
I
thing
started.
Barnes and Noble had a Virgin Palooza Fest and had 50 to 70% off of fucking nerd books.
Dude. The horror section though was wiped out. Like when I first saw they were
Of course
going out of
it was.
business, dude. All the Stephen King was done. All the Dean Kuntz, like everything, all of the like horror classics. Like you couldn't get your hands on like a Mary Shelley Frankenstein or a Bram Stoker, Dracula. Like, nothing. All of those were just cleared out. So like I just kind of perused and I saw this book and I was like, oh, this shit looks good.
Speaking of Stephen King, he released If It Bleeds through the pandemic. I read that. That was really good.
Was
yeah, I
that
haven't read
good?
that one yet.
It was really good. It was a novella book.
Let's see.
It's great.
I've watched a lot of shit. As I think everyone has during the pandemic, I think
Yeah.
mass consumption of streaming services has just been the new norm more so than before. So like
Yeah.
I fucking binge watch shows like the day they come out now, and I work remotely now, so like I don't leave my house that much. So I've just been doing all that shit. I'm almost done with my graduate program. And then I guess
Fuck
like
yeah.
the biggest news is that I'm moving to San Francisco in the start of the new year. So I'm leaving my Florida buddies for the first time in God ever.
In your life.
My entire life. So that's that. But yeah,
but that's gonna be cool.
It is gonna be cool. I'm really excited. My wife, she got a job out there, and she's
My
doing her
wife.
thing. And my wife, so I'm excited for it. I'm gonna trying to find some like cool record stores, and we've already found some cool oddity shop that we want to go to. So we're kind of starting to like search.
I know
for the
there's
things
an
that
Amoeba. There's an Amoeba Records in San Francisco, and I know
Really?
that there's another record store down the road from that one called Rasputin Records.
love
I think.
love
Ooh,
that already.
that's so sick.
It
It never dies.
I almost bought an original pressing of the Blade Runner soundtrack on vinyl.
Love
there,
that.
but I didn't want to take it on the plane and stuff. But if I'm remembering correctly, it's called Rasputin. I could be wrong.
I'll have to look into
But-
it because
San Francisco is fantastic. Like you're so
I'm excited for
close
that
to,
weather.
like, the weather. You're close to you're not close to the beach, but like you're close to Santa Cruz, which is a cool town, and
Yeah.
cool.
And I'm right
forests
there now.
everywhere.
I'll be on the West Coast. I can just drive up the Pacific Northwest and fucking.
Mike's
Yeah.
going Hollywood.
I'm gonna go to try to find Bigfoot and hug it.
He's
Uh,
there.
yeah.
He's there,
That's
up there
your-
somewhere. Maybe I'll make the journey to Forks, and I'll go live in Twilight for a while.
Just make sure you get a
Oh.
selfie with Bigfoot.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. But I just thought it would be fun. I mean, it's been so long since people have heard from us that
Yeah.
we just give them a little update. And, we apologize for you kind of just dropping off the face of the earth, but we kind of had a lot of shit go down. I mean, mainly it was me. I'm not gonna lie. It was my schedule was getting pretty hectic, and it was getting a little bit
we got
harder.
sucked into the void of grown up.
We got sucked into the void of being
adulting.
grown ups and having to work full time and all that shit. So it just got a little too hard to do the show, but
No,
it
and
wasn't
I
like
didn't
no
think
hard
of-
feelings, as you guys could hopefully
No,
tell. Like listening to the show, we're all still great of friends, and we still talk on the regular. So
Yeah.
no,
I don't know
and
about
The
I don't know
group
about
chat.
Pat, but
The group
What?
chat
Yeah.
though, did not die.
no, never did. Jake is still around. He's he'll maybe we'll get him on a show one night. We can finally have an episode on ET just so he could we'll just have like Jake talk
we'll give it to him.
for the whole hour. We'll just let Jake
I'll
talk.
go into the lore of Botanicus and the Green Planet.
You about to say something, Dylan?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
okay.
And then I like the theme of the show, with the return of the horror junkies and kind of give an update. Dylan had a really cool idea, and I
did?
guess you are the one who came up with this idea, where we
shit.
kind of talked about what first got us into the horror genre and what really got us grounded and by any media, comics, books, movies, TV shows, whatever. And then also like kind of discuss like why is it that this genre of film is so different from others and that the fan base is so strong. I mean, the same can be said for like science fiction, but like usually they're more structured down to like their fandom. So like it's not like it's Star Wars and it's Star Trek and it's Battlestar Galactica or Lord of the Rings, but it's always like horror is just like this giant convoluted living thing.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
multiple like genres inside of horror that
Yeah.
caters to an audience that would be those fandoms of like those nerd cultures and
Yeah,
stuff.
and
like
I think it's weird is because like, people can love Lord of the Rings and love Star Wars, and that's it. That's the only type of science
That's- yeah.
fiction or fantasy story that they're going to touch, and they don't touch anything else. They don't watch anything else. Versus like horror, fans are like, yeah, I love the Friday the 13th series, but they also watch other things. They also consume other
right
methods of horror
No,
materials.
and that's the thing is like you can be like, oh, I'd watch like thriller or crime horror like
Mhm.
stories and stuff like that. In the same breath, you could be like, oh, I also watch like horror comedies like Evil Dead or something.
Exactly.
It's a very vague stroke of a genre, but that's like it's layered with so many different types of like genres and themes. It's kind of like just like music genre in a sense, or like a music scene or whatever.
I kind of compare it to like metal music in a way. Like there's I mean, every bit of music, every style has its own subgenres. I get that, but like
exactly. Same thing with horror.
Heavy metal has just got like
derivatives.
And for the most part, if you're like a heavy metal fan or like love metal, you like horror movies. Like
it is kind of they just go hand in hand together. The aggressive nature of both, but it's I feel like what am I trying to say here? I feel like there's so many different genres of like horror movies. Like you've got like like Crimson Peak. You've got your gothic romantic horror. And it's like that's a genre. Like it's a mouthful, but it's a genre.
And then you have your paranormal,
your
body horror,
found footage, body horror,
creatures,
and
demon possession, haunted house, lost in the woods.
Or you could be Mike Flanagan. You could just be Mike Flanagan, who has decided that he's going to redesign how we talk about grief and loss and all this.
What happens when you die? Yeah, my God.
Yeah,
I finished it. It's so good.
I've yet to finish it, but I mean, just in general, this is something we'll probably have an episode where we discuss Mike Flanagan's work and we talk about, The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor and Midnight Mass, because each one has just been so different, but still has that core basis where it's talking about, grief and loss. And I think that's kind of what he's going for. He's kind of creating this like anthology universe that discusses like the stages of like loss. Because every storyline so far has dealt with someone, passing or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. It's all dealing with the human condition.
Exactly.
Like that,
Which I love. And I love that this approach is being taken in this type. So
but it's also coming out in the right fucking time too.
See, but you could say that's what horror is, though, is an extension of the director, the writer going that and just like bringing to light, things that we deal with as a society and bringing it to light in a medium, which...
No, and that's the thing I love about horror, and it's like a formula of how it's presented to the public.
Mm-hmm.
It's always reflecting on what is the fear of like what's scary now, what's got our nerves going,
I think Jordan Peele's nailing that more than anybody now.
100%,
hands down, and that's the case. And like, not a lot of genres in the movie or even a lot of mediums do that as well as horror.
No, I agree.
There's so many different ways.
Its own therapy,
There's so many different ways to convey a message of any kind in a horror movie, depending on what you're making. Like you could have, you could have, deep, profound social commentary in a demon possession movie if you wanted to. Like it's anything's possible if you write it well.
Exactly.
No, exactly.
Like the Babadook.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Babadook was more on the hands of like grief and dealing with a dead loved one and stuff like that. But
and then the after effects.
But look what happened since those movies came out. It's like now we've got nothing but that with the horror genre where we're having like
whatever happened to Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. You know what happens in the title. What happens? He takes Manhattan. And there's nothing SJW about it. I'm just kidding.
I do. That is something though that I would like to see kind of come back.
I think we are with Malignant, though. It got a little schlocky. It got like it was fun.
We got
turn your brain off fun. I do miss that.
I mean, like even like not even like a resurgence of like just like our old slashers, but like I think like
because you can't bring those back.
Yeah, but I think like having a way of bringing back the slasher genre, which hasn't really been done.
No,
Child's Play try to do it.
Yeah, but again, that's the remaking something that from a character before. I'm talking about an original concept that brings back that
brings
genre.
back the slasher
Not
genre.
Saying, hey, I need to make Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or Child's Play or Scream.
Did you guys watch that slasher TV show?
Which one?
I know you told me to, but
I did not see that. No.
Season 1 and 3 are great. Second one, don't even fucking bother. But they did that. They took an original character and basically, if you've seen Scream, the TV show, it's very, very similar.
Yeah,
Okay.
I watched like a couple episodes of it, but again,
it's an
like,
original concept, and like it was good.
But what I mean is that not one thing. I'm talking like, so like there's always paranormal movies coming out. There's always possession movies coming out. It'd be nice to see a resurgence of some slasher-esque type horror movies come into like theaters.
And something that has just like a concept that just uses that concept of a slasher, but in a new light, maybe.
Yeah. I think that would
maybe
revamping the slasher genre.
No, and the thing is like you could use a franchise that could possibly do that with like the new Scream movie coming out, because Scream has always been like that's what it is created to do.
Well, when has a slasher had such an impact since Scream?
Because everything's been a copy of Scream since then.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say which is a good segue. The last original. Well, I would say the last original slasher character that was created was probably Art the Clown.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And then
not as iconic as Ghostface, but like give it a couple of years. I'm not saying he'll be as popular, but when the new Terrifier comes out and more people are introduced to this, it's going to happen.
It's going to, and that's what I'm like. Movies like Terrifier, and then shows like Slasher. Though, like if we continually start seeing those pick up, I think that would be really cool because I think it just kind of even out the playing field. Because we always get some type of possession movie, a haunted house movie, something along those lines every year. It'd just be nice to kind of see, a slasher serial killer-esque type movie come back into those, into the film series, just as monster movies. I would love to start seeing, more creature-esque movies coming back because we get so, populated with, a
certain like genre of horror.
Exactly.
It's always oversaturated, and it gets to a point that we just are tired of it.
Exactly. It's A24's fault.
No, it's not. A24 is the one who's pumping out the most original content there is.
Yeah, and they're playing around with the idea of like genre.
Look at that their newest movie that's coming out, Lamb. Like,
I can't fucking wait for Lamb.
I can't wait for that movie. It looks so fucking weird.
Oh, but, you know what? Okay, change, kind of shift something, but I just watched Pig.
Oh, you saw it?
Dude, so it's not what you think it's going to be.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's not a John Wick-esque movie?
No, not at all.
Okay, because that's what I got when I watched the trailer.
It's Nicolas Cage acting his fucking ass off.
Oh, yes. 100% down for it.
But not in a way that we've been seeing him lately in fucking movies. It's not a Mandy or a... What was that fucking...
Color Out of Space or something like that? Yeah.
No, the... Wally Wonderland.
Oh, Wally
Wonderland. Amazing.
Yeah.
The other movie he's in right now. He has another film that just came out, but I cannot, for the life of me.
It's not the Color of Space or something like that, right?
Ghostland or whatever.
It's called. Is it called Ghostland? I think it is Ghostland.
Something Ghostland.
Here,
I don't remember. I saw it today on my Apple TV thing, and I didn't watch.
It has like a giant mound of people behind it, or something like that. Different things. He does so many fucking movies. It's Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Yeah,
is what it's called.
I feel like I've asked this question before, but does Nicolas Cage have two swords on his back?
He does.
I knew it.
Two swords and like a red thing. And just because I want to know, it has a 64 on Rotten Tomatoes, and this is just the synopsis. In the treacherous frontier of Samurai Town, a ruthless bank robber gets sprung from jail by a wealthy warlord whose adopted granddaughter has gone missing. He offers the prisoner his freedom in exchange for retrieving the runaway. Strapped into a leather suit that will self-destruct in 5 days, the bandit sets off on a journey to find the young woman and his own path to redemption.
Fuck yeah.
Sounds like a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah.
Hey man, whatever.
That
sounds wild.
But let's get with everyone's discussion of what got you into the horror genre.
Yeah, I'd like to know. I mean, you want to go first, Patrick, or Dylan want to go first?
I can go later. Let Patrick go.
Go ahead, whatever. Rock, paper, scissors for it.
Sure, that'll work.
Rock.
No, for me, and we kind of just discussed it earlier, but for me, it's Scream. Scream was the one movie that I knew because I watched it when I was young, and I got it at Blockbuster. My parents rented it for me, and was like, "Here, like, watch this." And I don't know, it was just like not scary to me, so I wasn't like horrified by it, but I was intrigued by it, you know.
Yeah,
and I didn't get most of the reference that were being made in the movie at the time when I was so young. But you know, when you go back and watch, like, you know, they reference Halloween, they reference fucking Friday the 13th, all that shit. When you go back and watch those movies, and you just, I thought of quickly going like, I remember this, and this was mentioned in Scream. These rules in horror were mentioned in Scream and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that to this day, that's why like Scream will forever be my favorite series. Even the TV show, it was just, I loved how meta it was and how it established rules.
And it's so much needed for this genre when it's like pinpoints a time and period of horror.
Yeah,
that's why, like, with the new movies that's coming out, like, I'm kind of intrigued of what they're going to be doing.
Yeah,
you know, because they're doing the whole like not giving it like it's not Scream 5, or like what I would love it to be would be 5 Cream. You know,
I don't think you're ever gonna get that, but yeah,
they're doing the thing that all the other horror movies are doing. Is just like, again, with just the title of Scream, and not giving it like any context that it's a sequel or it's a reboot or anything like that. You know?
Yeah, I'm looking extremely forward to that.
Like,
movie.
Look, there's 3 Halloween movies that you can watch, and it's just Halloween.
Yeah,
the title is just Halloween. It's like, which one do you want to watch?
Exactly.
Halloween.
I think Halloween.
Exactly.
I'm looking forward to the Halloween Kills though. It looks fucking sick.
Yeah, me too.
It looks amazing.
On my birthday, I'm so hyped.
And then out of nowhere, Ghost just drops a fucking song, and it's gonna be in the movie.
Yeah, it's really good too. It's really good.
Well, I picked up Park Ave CDs here in Orlando is doing a pre-order for a 7-inch pressing of it, and it has it's like a blood red 7-inch vinyl of that song.
Holy
oh, really?
Yeah, it's like $10. I'll send you I'll send you a link after this so you can check it out.
Yeah, because I might see if someone could swing and get that pre-order.
They have it for deliver. You can do pick up at store. You can have it delivered to you. So
thank you, Cody.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do.
I pick up a lot of the Ghost 7 inches. So I have I'm gonna get that one, and then I have one. It was 7 inches of Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
And it came out a couple years ago, but Ghost is just fantastic.
Yeah, they're great. They're a great band. I don't care what any fucking super metal elitist nerd virgin has to think.
They can go fuck themselves.
I saw them live, and
they're fun.
Died.
Have fun, you fucking dorks. Like, have fun. Jesus Christ.
Literally. But I guess
Burzum sucks. Deal with it.
Deal with it. I think for me, I got in. I don't think I'm going to pick a movie per se.
Right.
Okay. But I just grew up reading, tales from, scary stories to tell in the dark and Goosebumps a lot as a kid. So I think that initial, reading, Night of the Living Dummy and Monster Blood and Say Cheese and Die and, a lot of the things that R.L. Stein created really drove me in because I love those. And to this day, I still read them. I have Issa bought me a pack that has some of the original storylines that they produced, and I just remember being young and reading scary stories to tell in the dark on the weekend with my friends, and just creeping each other out and doing those kind of things, and then that kind of sucked me in. And then once my mom would take me to Blockbuster and I'd rent Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street or Scream because she loved those movies too, so we'd be able to watch those together.
And there's got to be something said about the 80s and 90s era of kind of this horror Halloween stuff that was marketing to kids in a sense.
Yeah,
with the Goosebumps and the
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Mm-hmm. Essence of hey, we're gonna tell these scary stories, but to kids and stuff like that. Yeah. So
plus the Goosebumps TV show was on when I was a kid too, so I used to watch that as well.
I used to watch it. It used to be on what was it, Fox.
Yeah, Fox or like old. And then you have Lola chiming in because apparently she's a huge horror fan. But I watched the TV show today because it's on Netflix. And I have it on my list so I can just watch whenever I want. And today, like some of my favorite episodes will always be the Welcome to Horrorland episodes. And I wish there was more to that because it's just such a cool episode. And I always wish that there would be a like a theme park that's designed like that. Like that was always as a kid growing up, I was like, man, they should really make Horrorland into a fucking thing. It'd be so cool.
That's how old school Halloween Horror Nights used to feel.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I don't know, maybe one day, we'll just shoot around and maybe we'll figure out how to like design like a haunted attraction and we can theme it around Goosebumps.
That'd be cool.
I think that would be really
Got to get
cool.
a lot of licensing. But
that's fine. I feel like R.L. Stein would be into it though.
We should just make a haunted house based on being an adult.
Oh, no.
Adulthood.
Pay your taxes.
Welcome to the room of 3.5% APR financing.
To your credit score for housing.
Public school didn't prepare you for any of these spooks and scares.
And everything is just in Vincent Price's fucking voice.
Welcome to the void of love handles.
Oh, no one prepares you to decide what you want for dinner for the rest of your life. To be fair, if everyone has to, that's the worst thing.
Dude,
having to think about what you want to eat every fucking night for dinner I'd rather die.
It's so fucking stressful.
My mom made that choice for me for like 15, 16 years, and now all of a sudden she just stops.
Cold turkey. You don't even.
I guess it's beef and cheddars every night.
Beef and cheddars every night.
Hell yeah, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm probably going to Arby's after this. Y'all suck.
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like I want some Arby's too. I'm gonna try to convince the wife.
All right, show's over. We all gotta go to Arby's.
All right, we're done. We're back, but we're going to Arby's. But yeah, that would say I think Goosebumps would heavily be my source of like what really got me into wanting more. As I got older as a teenager, and then started really looking for and plus video games.
Dude, when I was younger, I remember so vividly. We had Tales from the Crypt, the Christmas episode of the Santa Claus that axes that family or whatever. And I remember like that being like a printed image of like my past memories of like, okay, this is kind of something I'm not supposed to watch or supposed to. Yeah,
because there's like a nudity scene there.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's at the time I still believe in Santa Claus. I'm like, well, he could do this.
Oh shit! This is what he does when kids are bad. He just acts murders.
And it was just in my house, and like my parents were not at all into fucking horror movies at all. I don't even know why the hell they got they're kind of the ones that got me into it because they were like did not supervise me at all and just got me shit that I wanted from Blockbuster.
No, they did not.
We saw this movie. It's about an ice cream man. We thought it'd be good for you. It's just
dude. I told it on this. I think I've told the story on this podcast, but my parents got me Ninja Scrolls when I was like 5. If you ever watched that anime, there's a fucking just a very terrible scene at the beginning of the movie, and
it messed Pat up. It left a scar on Patrick.
Can't say I've seen it.
It all makes a lot of sense.
I've seen it either. All right,
Pat sees one fucked up cartoon when he's a kid. Now he is the way he is, living in his car.
And they're out here trying to blame video games.
Fucking going to Cinnabon every night.
Did the cartoon hurt your feelings, Pat? I'm just kidding. I feel like I have to say I'm just kidding after a lot of shit I say.
Yeah, no, I got you.
That's going to stop here.
It made me feel weird. It made me feel funny.
Oh god,
that fucking devil's lettuce strikes back.
You gotta watch out for that.
That's the edibles, bro.
What about you, George?
Yeah, George. What got you into this shit?
George? Why don't you fucking tell us?
Okay, I will, man. Please stop yelling.
Was it my notorious?
I didn't yell.
Honestly, like looking back on it, like listening to these conversations, as weird as it sounds, like obviously I was exposed to it a lot younger because of my uncle and my mom. Like I was kind of like raised in a conservative kind of like household when my mom got married. So when he wasn't around, like my mom would like kind of like rent a movie that was a little bit like on the fence, like Alien and stuff like that.
Yeah, then, fuck that guy. I remember him.
Yeah, dude, fuck him, dude. I hope he's listening. Fuck you, dude. But I remember. Do you guys remember when movie theaters would give out like the free tickets for like the premieres for movies?
Yes.
Yep. And they would give you like 2 tickets. So in 2005, Boogeyman came out. And I rewatched it the other day because I thought about this, and it's fucking awful. But yeah, we went, and I was just like, it was just like blown away, and like it kind of like got me introduced into horror, and then staying at Patrick's house all the time because he, dude, every time I would stay at Patrick's house, dude, we would watch 13 fucking Ghosts. Never fucking fail. Every fucking night.
Did you lay in that pervert's black silk sheets that he had?
No,
dude. It was one of the 4 couches he had in his room, dude.
Yeah, dude. I used to...
no bed, just couches, and one of them was a pull-out bed.
I definitely have heard these stories.
You know what 4 couches says to me? It says 4 couches, only 3 to go.
That, and I think going to Halloween Horror Nights every year too. It just kind of just like brought it and like made it a part of my life every fucking year.
I agree.
So that was one of the things. Like, obviously, would I have gotten that deep into it if it wasn't for like Halloween Horror Nights every year? Probably not.
We used to do in Ocala. There was JC's like haunted house, and it used to be in like an abandoned old.
I heard about that. How
building?
Were those?
They used to be really fucking cool, like really intense.
Right.
They would like, do small groups and walk you through these like intense scenes and, yell and curse at you and shit. But then I think like a church took over and it got really lame real fast.
What was that haunted house called?
I think it was called like JC's Haunted House.
What juggalo ran that haunted house?
Bro, it's Ocala. Who do you think?
Some whoops in the background, bro. Free Fago with a ticket.
Welcome to Shaggy Two Dope's haunted hullabaloo.
Yeah. It's Ocala, bro.
Out of the Ocala National Forest, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's definitely ran by juggalos.
It's
sure.
100% ran by juggalos.
Has to.
It's the forest people, man. Watch out.
Jesus.
You don't go into the forest at night in Ocala.
You don't go to Ocala when they're doing the gathering. If they still do that shit there, because I haven't been there in very long.
Oh, my God. I wonder if they
never
still do.
Go there during that time. It's very scary. People just go in the woods and hang out. And about that.
Some of those small towns probably worship like a giant lake monster, and we just don't know it.
Oh, what happens in the Ocala National Forest usually stays there because you get murdered and buried under.
We're trying to find Wetfoot.
No, it's the skunk ape in Florida.
Skunk ape.
I didn't believe that shit, and my dad tried to tell me about it, and then one day, I got a call. My dad from the living room. My dad was like, "Get in here." So I went in there and I said, "What?" And he just pointed at the television, and it was Discovery Channel's Hunt for the Skunk Ape. And I went, "You're out of your mind." He goes, "I tried to tell you. I heard one while I was fishing. Like, I swear to God." He said he heard one. And and I don't get it, but he heard it.
He heard it, so I mean, it must be real. I mean, Discovery.
Oh, you never listened to our episode on Skunk Ape?
Skunk Ape.
Can't say I have.
Oh, we have.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. The most dumbest shit we've ever done in our entire lives.
That's badass, though.
Yeah.
Like that movie Antlers is coming out.
I've been waiting for this for a long time.
It comes out in October.
Yeah. Sequel to Horns.
I forgot about it. No, it's fucking Del Toro's movie.
Oh,
yeah. Well, actually, someone else is directing it. I think he's like co-directing it.
Yeah,
but I think it's about.
Is that what's up with Del Toro?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I have not paid attention to his career, so I have no idea what this movie is about.
I think it has to do with Wendigos, which is like a favorite. That's a favorite American folklore of mine. It doesn't specifically say that's what it is, but a lot of like the deer skull and antler imagery is very like what they describe.
I can sing you the short story that it's based off of. Because it's based
on Wendigos.
No,
don't tell me. I want to go in. Well,
like I said, it's based off like a short story.
Yeah.
And I read it, and because when I first saw the trailer, I was like, I need to know. what this movie is going to be about. And so I read the little short, and it was fantastic.
Dude, Del Toro really do make it in all our episodes, huh?
He really does. Somehow, some damn way, that man gets himself in our episode.
Yeah, isn't he doing something called like Nightmare Alley or something?
Yep.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Well, I mean, people are stupid to not like let him have creative control over things, because he does have a way of building worlds. And I feel like that's why the dark universe that Universal tried to do didn't pan out, because he like saw what they wanted to do and was like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, if we're going to do a Universal monster comeback, like, let's make it a monster comeback, not a fucking action film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you really got to have a director that has a passionate love for classic Universal black and white monster movies, and that's like, you just got to do it. And but you know what, I feel like that's kind of why we're getting that,
or
we're getting the Robert Eggers Nosferatu movie.
That's what I was about to say. Like, get him to do at least not if he does Nosferatu, but also have him like look over the other movies that are being made in that universe.
That man
they need like a Kevin. Unfortunately, they need like a Kevin Feige. Yeah, to overlook and make it work.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, someone that cares about the source material and
exactly.
And the whole story coming together.
Yeah, those movies have atmosphere. They have such rich atmosphere to them, and it's hard to capture that nowadays. It's all because it's a lot of people try to do jump scares, but there's like some people do nuance and other things very well, but I think I'm excited for that Nosferatu movie. I mean,
me too.
The possibilities with it's Robert Eggers, right? It's not
Correct.
Ari Aster. Yeah,
no, it's Robert Eggers.
Yeah, I'm an Eggers man myself.
Ari Aster is working on another film too, though. So
and
we need to. I mean, I know Patrick and I have in the past, way back in the day, did do an episode, I think, on The Witch, which I know we need to. I mean, I wouldn't classify. Jesus. He just came out of nowhere with that shit. But we'll talk about getting into like we need to do Hereditary, and we need to do Midsommar and all that kind of shit.
Do we really though?
But do we? I don't know. But getting back on point, Dylan, it's now your turn. Unless George had more to say.
No, that's it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Pat, for ruining my fucking life.
Well, I just smoked some weed, so no time like the present. All right. It's so much it's not so much a thing, it's a person.
Who's knocking?
I have no idea.
You smoked weed and the FBI just is about to raid fucking Dylan's
They're coming
house
to get me. Anyway. It's not so much a thing, it's a person, and that person is my mother.
Oh,
my mother.
He's going with the Norman Bates,
right? No. If you met my mother, you'd understand. She actually has a recreation of the Norman Bates mother's corpse sitting.
Is she fucking really?
Yeah, she decorated it herself, and it's it's sitting in a
that
giant window
on your Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's sitting in a giant window in front of her house. Like she's a she loves Stephen King, Anne Rice, like all of those authors and stuff. She's she told me her story of going to see the original Halloween at the drive-in and how that pretty much got her set. My dad is not a horror movie fan, but he is a metalhead, and I mean, I grew up. He would clean the house. You would hear like Judas Priest and Ozzy, Dio. You'd hear Corrosion of Conformity and Helmet, Alice in Chains, like all that stuff. Like, know. And
no wonder you came out the way you are.
Yeah. I would say my father's music and my mother's movies is what makes me who I am, pretty much. And
now we have someone to blame.
And we all share like a hemispherical love of Seinfeld. So we all just if you don't watch Seinfeld, you won't get like half the jokes that me and my parents tell at each other. Like, for real. But yeah, I mean, and I was talking to her the other day about it because I was like, some of the movies you let me watch as a child, I would deem questionable at best.
Now, I had that same conversation with my mom. Like
my mother. Well, here's the thing. Like you said, like your mother, like she just rented you movies and you'd watch them. My mother would take me to the Blockbuster or to this local record store that rented movies called Turtles Music, and that was like where I bought my first album. And I mean that was such a staple for where I lived as a kid. And I still remember the Mike Jones poster.
Oh God!
Like, who? It was like who? It was a gigantic poster with his phone number on it that you would call and stuff. And they closed down all of a sudden, and I really wished I could have bought that fucking Mike Jones flyer from them so I could have like hung it outside my house. But I digress. We would go every Friday night to either Blockbuster or Turtles, and we would rent just shitty movies, like old horror movies like Ghost Story and The Changeling. And we would also do like, Halloween, but she already owned that. Like she had a pretty impressive like horror movie VHS collection that we would peruse as a kid. And like, I think one of the first ones I ever watched with her was Silver Bullet.
Oh wow!
Okay, when I was Silver Bullet.
One of the funniest scenes when the werewolf like shoots out of the fucking office chair.
Yeah, and the werewolf playing piano, I fucking love it.
Yes.
But yeah, like that, Salem's Lot, and like Halloween and Alien and all this stuff. My mother chalks it up to just being ghoulish fun. But when you're 6 or 7 and you watch The Shining and you don't get what the guy in the bear costume's doing till much later in life. She was just banking on me not understanding it, and she was right. Although I've always said they should. You know how there's like director's cuts of Blu-rays and DVDs and shit like that?
Yeah.
There should be a mother's cut of like every horror movie where it just skips the scenes with the tits in it. Like I can watch Michael Myers pin a man to a wall with a kitchen knife.
Yep. But no boobs.
But boobs? No, my mother fast forward real quick. She's like,
the line
this isn't
right
for
there.
Young eyes to see.
Just shout out all the mothers for coming up with the most creative ways to get us away from the TV at the most opportune time, and we had no idea why as kids.
Yeah.
It's like, why did my mom always want a fucking snack when there was titties? And then all of a sudden I watched that movie 10 years later, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's titties in this movie? What the fuck?
You were robbed. You were robbed.
But it is true that there is like an on point like, oh no, move your eyes. You can't see this, but you can then watch, Johnny Depp be swollen into a fucking bed with a giant bloodstream shooting to the roof.
Yeah.
My mother let me go on a roller coaster with her, but this is not just any roller coaster. First of all, I was 4 or 5, and no one else would go on it. And I was just young enough not to be scared of anything. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I guess I was a tall child, so they let me on the roller coaster. How you got to this theme park, it was called Ghost Town in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. I think it's North Carolina. Yeah, I think Maggie Valley is in North Carolina. But you had to take a ski lift to get up there because the theme park's on a mountain.
Oh my God.
And they had a roller coaster called the Red Devil, and it went upside down, and it was not built well. And again, it's on top of a mountain. And my mother wanted to ride it, but no one else did. I raised my hand, and against her better judgment, she let me ride the ride. And she saw me sitting in the seat, and the harness was so big on me. And she just goes, oh no, and it takes off.
Oh God.
Years later, someone died on that roller coaster.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and the theme park closed down, but people are thinking of reopening it again, which would be tight. George Strait played there, so it's got to be cool.
George Strait.
Hey.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's got to be cool.
Hell yeah.
George Strait's doing it, I'm doing it.
I think it's weird that like
that's how I live my life.
I think it's funny though, collectively between the 4 of us, it was our mothers who
they enabled us.
who enabled our horror movie consumption, because my mom took me to Blockbuster, movie gallery, or video gallery,
Hollywood Video
in Bellevue at the time when I was growing up as a kid. But like, I would grab a movie and be like, I want to watch this, and she'd just be like, all right, cool.
And kids don't get it. Kids won't get it.
I'm like,
they won't get it. You know, they won't get the glory of sidekicks, like sidekick phones. They won't get the glory of that. And they won't get the glory of going to the video store and like scouring for something that looks good. You know, it's like I'll never forget. I'll make this a quick one. My mother and I rented In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, this is another old movie my mother wants to show me. I found out that bitch came out in 1994. I was 5 or 6 years old. It just came out, and my mother wanted to watch it, but she didn't want to watch it alone. So here comes little Dylan out of his room like, oh boy, a movie. And then John Carpenter's vision of H.P. Lovecraft celestial horror is impressed onto my eyes. And it's just
I really want to watch that again.
But it's a fun one.
It's a fun movie.
Ghoulish fun.
It's just ghoulish fun.
Yeah.
I love God. It's just, I would love to just be able to go back to a movie rental store and just peruse what they have on the shelves. And
I mean,
because they always had weird things.
It's a different time, but how long do you spend scrolling through fucking Amazon Prime or Netflix before you finally?
It's not the same.
It's not the same. I hate
it.
It's not the same.
You're right. It's not the same, but the concept is still there.
Yeah, but no, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah, but you gotta hold the VHSs and the DVDs in your hand. You go on the line. There's the popcorn and the snacks.
Your mom slaps your hand when you keep grabbing all the fucking sour straws.
And you're standing there, and there's an elation that you feel as a child, where you're in line and you've got your Blockbuster card or your mom's Blockbuster card.
Yep, I had that membership card.
You've got 2 VHSs. And you've got snacks and soda and all this. And as a kid, for me, it just wasn't better than that.
Oh,
it just wasn't.
You know what?
Nothing beat it.
You know what the best part was about going to get movies and stuff? Is that was the only time that we were allowed to sit in the living room and watch TV while we were eating. Like my mom would put out a blanket and like we would just like eat and get pizza or whatever. And like we would just sit on the floor in the living room and watch a fucking movie.
It's the best. The simple things are the best, really.
And I think I feel like I feel like since like things are coming back, you know, record stores and things that we loved as a kid. I feel like if done correctly, and I think I've got on this soapbox before and discussed this in past episodes. I really do think if someone was to design a video store with the end user experience in mind, and they kind of change it, like have a coffee shop in it and have a reading section, like have different elements in it to self-support it versus it just being a standalone VHS store or in this case DVD Blu-ray. I think it would also host really
events and shit too.
Exactly. I think that there's things like what happened to Blockbuster and a lot of movie stores across America with it was just the ease of not having to go. But I feel like as we, the millennial generation and also Gen Z get older, we kind of like those kind of things. Like we look for experiences as a person now. Like I don't care about having to go somewhere as long as I know like when I go there, I'm going to enjoy my time there. It's worth going, spending 30 minutes in a store looking at the shelves to find, what came out, what's some weird, film that these people who own the store picked up, because that's another thing you have to consider. Like now with global market, they can just pick up anything they want and put it on their shelves. Like before, back when we were kids, it was a lot harder. Things weren't as globalized when we were younger as they are now. Could you imagine the weird foreign horror films that you could find that they could just bring in and put on the shelf? Like
exactly. And it's like most of like the discoveries on my own when it comes to the horror genre was like seeing it in the aisles of Blockbuster and being intrigued by the art cover.
You're like, this cover is cool as fuck. Let's get it.
Not only that, like
that's how I watch fucking Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I do that like when we go to Spooky Empire or any other type of convention or store that has DVDs and Blu-rays or VHSs. I still stop to this day and check them out because like it's just fun to see like what's there that there's a lot of shit that you've watched.
It's the same feeling you get when you walk into a comic book shop.
Yeah,
it really
but not
even really. Because for me, comic book stores wasn't until later on in my life when I moved out of Ocala.
Okay,
we didn't have comic book stores there. So it was, going to the movie store is more of...
because I made my mom would make the same trips in a row.
Yeah.
Would take me to the comic book shop, get my comics, and then we'd go get like a movie for the night.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, honestly though, like when I go to a thrift store, the first thing I check out is the CDs and the VHS and DVDs.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
They have cool shit.
Because they always have gold.
Always.
Flea markets too. I've always
flea markets. But again, I just
think
think
you want to strike gold with VHS, like flea markets are usually
hit a flea market
the best.
Yeah.
Bro, Dylan, do you remember when we played in Jacksonville at Nighthawks and the guy was selling like all those classic ass VHSs in the back?
Yep.
Dude, that was sick. I bought I think $20 worth of like VHSs and DVDs, and I walked out with like 10 or 15 of them. It was awesome.
Yeah.
This was in Gainesville?
No, it's Jacksonville.
No, Jacksonville.
Was the kid like a heavier set kid?
No, he was like some weird old guy.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, but I just
feel like old guys is where you buy the best movies.
Exactly.
My old roommate from college does. He makes VHSs out of like animes and goes like thrift shopping and finds like stuff and sells it on his Instagram and stuff like that.
And there's also just stuff out there that's never going to be on these platforms. And like again, I just don't think it's the same type of searching for. It kind of gets annoying to like get on Netflix or get on Amazon or HBO or Hulu or Peacock or Tubi
because it's a curated algorithm.
Or you have to like go through and you're trying to find things to watch. You're like, no, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this. Or I don't know. I think that there's a lot to talk about there. That's a lot different than the horror genre than just having things so readily available for so long that
right,
it's annoying
especially when it's streaming, like now in the age of streaming, the stream boom of like we are only watching what they give us and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like what is like that one thing that I'm not seeing that I should be discovering?
Algorithms, man. Curated algorithms.
Damn algorithms. No, but yeah, that's why like for me it's like I've been digging deep into the foreign horror parts of like the culture that I would never be exposed to if it wasn't for my abilities to do that with the internet.
I will say Netflix does really good with foreign films though.
Oh yeah.
And the thing too is like that's how I watched Ringo and the original Grudge, the Japanese versions of those movies was at like a Hollywood Video or a Blockbuster.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's how they used to market is like, hey, you guys want to watch the original like Grudge movie that's coming out soon?
I just felt like when we kind of talked about coming back and doing this podcast again, I thought we are going to review Candyman. I think we'll do it next episode.
We kind of went over.
We went over. Not that that's really an issue, but I actually do want to rewatch it because it's been a little while since I've watched it. Just
party at Mike's.
Yeah, right. And I feel like we can go into a deeper discussion about Candyman and kind of like and we can pick another movie or something like that.
We can give it the rightful attention that it deserves.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
And so we'll do that next time. Dylan's headphones died. He said, "Give me a minute" in the chat.
Son of a bitch.
So he's still here. He just can't probably hear shit anymore. But coming back, it's thanks for listening, people.
Thank you.
An old listener, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. This is kind of the gist of what we fucking do, and be prepared for a lot of sidetracked conversation, a lot of fucking random shit, and
we're not scripted at all.
Funny jokes, no script here. It's just fucking live.
Fucking do it live. Fucking we'll do it live.
But I'm excited to be back. I missed this. I'm not gonna lie. It's been something that we used to do every fucking week for years.
Dude,
it was a good. It was a good.
Don't make
plug
plans.
out for that. It's a good place to just knowing every week that the routine is like we're gonna come and do like an episode. It made me excited to watch movies for one. It made me excited to actually like analyze and dig into a movie and like have an opinion and like not just it being like a movie that I watch. Lately it's like. That's how it's been. It's just like I'm still watching horror movies, but it's like, who do I talk to now about this?
Exactly. Yeah. I always talk to my wife, Meanie, so because we watch this stuff together.
That's the thing. I'm in a new relationship now, and like that's kind of like making her watch like old horror movies and like kind of like seeing it in a new eye. It's kind of like interesting.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's cool getting an outside
that I've
perspective from like
watched over and over again, like seeing her, like she's not into the horror genre as much as like I am or we are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see like a outside perspective of like how she looks at these movies, and she picks up on a lot of things that like I would think a normal like audience member would not pick up on. So it's kind of cool, you know.
She got a big brain.
Big brain. But
I'm back, squad.
Yeah.
Dylan's back.
There he is.
So I mean, like I said, we got a cool things planned. You know, we're gonna talk. Obviously, we'll probably talk about Midnight Mass coming up, just because it's the latest thing.
Yeah, that means I gotta be.
Definitely Candyman.
Definitely Candyman. There's a lot of shipping dropped on Netflix and HBO and all these streaming services. I mean,
one thing I do want to discuss.
What's that, Patrick?
I want to do the VHS movies.
Oh yeah.
Because that new one's coming out and it looks super fucking.
Yeah. I also want to do an
I'm actually getting ready to watch VHS 2 for the first time. It's in my queue, so
I've never seen 2?
I've seen the first one, but not the second one.
I like you.
All right, skip 3 though.
Whoa,
we'll do.
I like
What is that weird noise in the background?
What you hear?
I like you.
Oh. What is this? Some fucking Ghost Adventure shit?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on?
That's VHS, bro.
Somebody call Zach Baggins.
But we did a poll where we asked a lot of people on like Instagram what they want us to watch, and there were some pretty good movies that we've never done before, and like just I don't know why, like Evil Dead. Like we never did Evil Dead, and
we never did Evil Dead.
Really?
Never did the Evil Dead series, and that's just like one of all of our favorite movies.
I thought we did like maybe the TV show.
Did we do
the TV series?
We didn't do anything on Evil Dead. I promise you.
What?
I went back and looked. We never did anything on the Evil Dead, and if we did, then I'm an idiot. And
did y'all do Reanimator before?
You sure we didn't do anything?
We haven't done Reanimator.
I think we probably just discussed it on the show or some shit.
Probably
not a full theme episode on.
Yeah,
Evil Dead. I would love that.
Pat's just mentioned Reanimator like 1,000 times because he fucking loves that movie.
We should do Reanimator. That'd be a fun episode too.
But there's a lot of things I want to do. A lot of cool, things that we didn't get to talk about that we want to talk about. Plus, there's a lot of things that have came out over the years that I feel like we can probably talk about. And
so much has happened in 3 years.
Yeah.
But everything's just we're back.
We're back.
Are we back,
motherfuckers? Whether you like this or not,
are we back?
And we're doing things differently, but it's. I think we got back into a flow.
Yeah, right? I agree. We'll see what happens. You'll see. When you listen to this and you let us know, and then next week you'll have another fucking episode, and then followed by another episode. So it's gonna be back on that grind. So tell all your friends, get your snacks ready, because the snacks are gonna be vital on this this journey with us. But as always, I'm Mike.
I'm Pat.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Jorge.
And we'll be back next week, and stay weird, y'all.
Bye-bye.